Hey, you guys, welcome to this episode of The Rachel Cruze Show. So today we're going to be talking about raising kids at every stage of life, and I'm bringing on parenting expert and my dear friend, Dr. Meg Meeker. But first, since it's Father's Day, it's like right around the corner, I thought it'd be so fun to bring my father, my dad, on the show, Dave Ramsey. So thanks for being here.
Well, I'm honored. This is the Rachel Cruze Show.
I know, isn't it like huge
like
and fun?
Deal. It's a big deal.
So fun. It's so fun.
Got your own coffee cup. You're a big deal.
Oh, do I ever? I'm like so excited about it. So tell me this, as a dad, when you look back of raising us three kids, because those of you that don't know, I have an older sister, younger brother. Around the time when, especially my sister and I were young, is when you and mom were filing for bankruptcy. I mean, that whole thing was kind of falling apart. So talk to me about that season of life. Like, how did you get through that struggle when you were raising kids?
We were just worried that we could keep you warm and fed. We really weren't necessarily concerned about your emotional well-being. We were just trying to survive. We didn't throw emotional stuff on you guys, like scare you to death or something. You were, of course, a baby. But we didn't run around the house going, we're losing our home, we're losing our home. But
foreclosures right around the corner.
It wasn't like a bad movie, or something. But that was going on.
Yes.
And so you just got to deal with that, and then how to protect you guys, but also walk you through whatever the realities of those things are.
Yeah. So that made me think. Parents ask me a lot. Okay, so how do I talk to my kids about my mistakes? How do you feel like you and mom did that? Like, I have my perspective, but were you guys intentional with that? Because I think that's something that's so important with parents when you're teaching your kids about money, with the mistakes. And that was a huge mistake. I mean, you guys went into debt and filed for bankruptcy. So how do you feel like you shared those mistakes well with us?
Well, I think we shared what we did that caused that. Okay, so the mistake was we went into debt. The mistake was we built a house of cards. We were trying to get rich quick. The mistake was that we didn't have a plan. The mistake was we weren't steadily and regularly giving. The mistake was, and so the tactical things that caused the overall meltdown, we didn't say the mistake was the bankruptcy. No, it's the things that led to that were the individual mistakes. And so they become little one-off, nuanced lessons rather than this big, overwhelming melodrama lessons. Now, when I'm on stage talking to an audience, I want the melodrama lesson for everybody to connect and go, oh, that guy's done stupid, he knows how it feels. I put that whole thing out there then. But when you're dealing with a child in there, I'm just dealing with, okay, this is why we don't do debt, because we did it one time. This is why we do a budget, because we didn't do that one time. And you nuance off of that.
Yeah, that's so good. So after the bankruptcy, you started finding your way, very organically about helping people manage their money well via your mistakes. So Financial Peace University was kind of taking off. You were on the radio show. You were traveling for live events. So I'm curious your kind of work-life balance and how you did it all as a dad. Because a lot of moms, we talk about this a lot with women, like how do you do it all? How do you raise kids and work and all that? But I'm curious from a dad's perspective, when you look back, how did you do it all?
I think you don't in a given period of time. And this idea that in a given day, you're perfectly balanced and you have exercise and prayer time and children time and spouse time and work time and every day has a perfect little template, that's just a load of garbage. People don't live their lives that way. That's just crap, And so
I knew you were going to say, I think he's going to say crap. So you did.
Well, it is. I mean, it is. So what happens is in a given moment, you're training for something. You've got little kids. You got little kids. It's all hands on deck. And so the season has changed. When we were starting a business and trying to survive, even with you all little, there was a season where that's what I did. And it really wasn't optional. I mean, much like a military family where dad is deployed or mom is deployed overseas. They're gone for 8 months. And what do? You deal with it. Yeah. But it's not forever. Like when we got ready to go on book tour the first time, I was gone 6 weeks. I mean, that's a long time with little kids in the house. And we told you guys, this is what we're doing. We're paying a price to win. And when we get back from book tour, we're going to Disney World. So it's like not here, but then all here and celebrate. And so there's a rhythm to that, the tide coming in, the tide going out. And that's how you achieve balance over the scope of your life, not in a given month or year. But if you go on for the whole scope of your life as a workaholic, you lose your family.
Right. Well, I think that's so good. And Christy Wright, one of my favorite quotes she says, I say it all the time, is that life balance is not about being 50-50. It's about being 100% present.
Exactly.
And those are some of my favorite memories with you, because I think people ask me a lot, like, okay, well, you had a dad that was gone a lot and traveled all the time. Like, how did you deal with that? And I was like, I don't know. I think kids are more resilient than we give them credit for. And the times you were present, you were present. And granted, that was before the day of iPhones and all of that, but you really were. You were present with us as kids. And so I think that's huge. And being at the important things, right?
Yeah, we schedule live events around Daniel's hockey schedule when he was playing hockey as a kid, or your games when you were cheerleading, or proms. or birthdays. You know, 11.
A middle school cheerleaders.
Well,
Very
hey,
exciting.
I was at the game though.
I know.
I was at the game.
It's just pitiful.
She was
I
a climber.
really
She got up on. She was a little
I was a
one. She got up
flyer.
on top. A flyer. That's right. A climber and a flyer. You have to climb before you
all
fly.
of it, all of it. So those are some of my favorite memories. So I'm curious from you, are there moments in parenting, or maybe this could be a principal idea or a specific memory of a time that you're like, yes, that was good. Like I felt as a parent, because I have those with Amelia now, where she said yes, ma'am, the other day without me having to like say yes, ma'am. She said it, and I was like, I won. Like I won. It's the small victories.
I think there's a bunch of them, but they're all like you're talking about with Amelia. They all fall under the category of, you're standing there with your shoulders square at 13 years old, and you actually walk through logically a critical thought process and came to the correct conclusion. And we're like, this one's not going to live in the basement. Thank you, Lord. It's like this one's going to make it. And there's those moments where you go, wow, they just did that, and that kind of a thing. And the other thing, our friend Meg's going to be on a little bit later, but I heard her say this the other day, and I hadn't thought about it till she said it, but it does work. What you do with your kids expands in their minds. I heard from a guy named Josh McDowell back in the day to date your daughters. Take your little daughters out on a date, dress them up, and take them to a fancy restaurant. And I did that like 3 times ever. And if you ask them, they'd like, my dad took me out on dates all the time. And I didn't. It was like, okay. But I mean, I got credit for a lot more than I actually did. So and the same thing was true. We talk about how to pay commissions on the chores. And we would sit down on Sunday night and do the chores. Well, we would go like 6 weeks without paying them.
This is true.
Because we were just busy. We forgot about it. We're at church. We're tired. They're gripey. I don't want to deal with them. Whatever it is.
But then it was like jackpot.
But then we would do it, and it's like, in their minds, every Sunday night was payday. They got paid every Sunday night. Well, they really didn't. Okay, we made up for it. We didn't steal the money from them.
It's so true, though, because I remember writing Smart Money, Smart Kids with you, the book. And I was going through writing it, and I was like, yeah, every Sunday night. And then I was like, wait, did we every Sunday night? Because in my mind, we really did. And then as we were talking about it, you're like, oh, God, we skipped like 2 months one time. Like, no, it was not we tried to be consistent, but like it wasn't. So yeah, that's so true. Things are just magnified.
The principles are still there. You're going to work. You're going to give, you're going to save, and you're going to spend.
Yes.
But the payday on Sunday night thing, and so it expands in a kid's mind when you do something right. You get more credit than you deserve.
Yes. Okay, so I'm curious, a time when you look back on your parenting, you're like, ugh.
Well, we found out later some of the stuff you guys did in high school that we didn't know.
Oh, I know.
And so apparently letting you go to some of these parties with your friends we trusted was a really bad idea. We didn't know this at the time. We thought they were nice little kids, but what they were was like little Eddie Haskells they were running around with. If you don't know who that is, that's the guy who fakes it on Leave It to Beaver. He's the kid that acts like he's, yes, Mrs. Claver. She had some of those around, but they were little party animals and misled my angel children. But yeah, right. But anyway, so that apparently we shouldn't have let you go to some of those parties. But I remember the one time I remember was just funny, and we'll throw your sister under the bus. One of the first times we ever left her, your older sister, to babysit the other 2. And we thought she was ready. She had actually babysat other people's kids. So we thought, well, we're going to go out to eat. I'm not paying anybody, put this kid in charge. We get a call from Drama here about halfway through the meal, and apparently the natives are restless back at the house. There's been a mutiny on the Bounty. There's been an uprising. A revolution has occurred in the Ramsey household because apparently my oldest daughter decided not only was she in charge, but they all had to do exactly to the penny what she wanted them to do.
And she took the wooden spoon out because she was going to discipline us. And I do remember that.
Yeah, so we had to come home and
we came out screaming. We're like, Mom, Dad!
Take the drill sergeant out of control of the other Drama children. It didn't work at all. It was bad.
That's so true.
Bad.
That's
not ready for prime time.
Baby. That's a good one. That's so good.